You are wading in a warm tide pool, and your foot nudges something soft on the sand. You reach down and pick it up. It is heavy, and it is warm from the sun, and it fills your whole palm like a wet, lumpy cucumber. It does not have a face. It does not have eyes looking back at you. It does not flinch, or bite, or swim away. It just sits there in your hand, slowly getting firmer, like it is deciding something, and then very quietly, it starts to fall apart on purpose. You are holding a sea cucumber, and almost everything about the animal in your hand breaks a rule you did not know could be broken. Start with what is not inside it. There is no brain, not a small brain, not a simple brain, none. Where your skull would be, it has a ring of nerves, a loop, and that loop is the entire command center for its whole body. There are no eyes, there is no face, and there is no heart pumping blood, because it does not really have blood the way you do. Instead, it runs its whole body on seawater. It pulls the ocean inside itself and uses the pressure of that water to move hundreds of tiny feet along its underside. So the thing in your hand is not pumping blood to stay alive. It is plumbed with the sea. Now, that alone would just make it strange. What makes it alien is how it breathes. Turn it over and you will not find gills, and you will not find a nose. A sea cucumber breathes through its back end. It pumps water in and out through the same opening it uses for waste, drawing oxygen in through a set of branching tubes tucked inside called respiratory trees. So every breath this animal takes, it takes through its bottom. Sit with that for a second, because it gets stranger, and it gets stranger because of what decided to move in there. That warm, wet, oxygen-rich space inside the sea cucumber is real estate, and something rented it. There is a slender fish called the pearlfish, and certain pearlfish spend their lives living inside the sea cucumber's body, entering tail first through that back opening and settling into the very space it breathes with. A fish living inside another animal up its rear, and here is the part that tips it from weird into grim. Some of these pearlfish do not just hide in there for shelter. Some of them eat their host from the inside, feeding on its organs while it goes about its day, breathing around the tenant that is eating it. The sea cucumber, with no brain to panic and no face to show it, just carries on. By now you might be squeezing it a little, and this is where the animal does its most famous trick, the one that makes people drop it. Under stress, a lot of sea cucumbers will violently eject their own internal organs. They rupture part of their body wall and fire their guts straight out, sometimes right at whatever is bothering them. In some species, those ejected threads are a special sticky weapon, a tangle of tubes that can swell to many times their length the instant they hit the water, gluing a crab or a fish into a helpless knot, and in a number of species those threads carry a toxin, so the attacker gets trapped and poisoned at the same time. The sea cucumber has quite literally turned throwing up into a defense system. It empties itself out, leaves the predator wrapped in its own toxic insides, and slides away half hollow. And this is the moment you would expect the story to end. It just threw its organs out of its body. Surely that is fatal. It is not. Over the next days and weeks, the sea cucumber simply grows the whole set back, new gut, new organs, regenerated from almost nothing, as if it had done nothing more dramatic than lose a fingernail. So its plan when attacked is to detonate its own insides and regrow them later, and that plan works well enough that the animal has been doing it for a very, very long time. There is one more trick, and it is the quietest and the most unsettling, because you can feel it happening in your hand. The sea cucumber can change how solid its own body is. Its skin is built from a special connective tissue. It can loosen or lock at will without muscles. It can go soft, almost liquid, and pour its body into a crack in the rock barely wider than a coin. Then once it is safe inside, it can stiffen right back up, wedging itself in so hard that a predator cannot pull it out. It is not squeezing with muscle. It is deciding, chemically, whether to be a solid or nearly a fluid, which means the lumpy thing warming in your palm can become firm, or it can become goo, and there is no brain anywhere in it making that call. And there is one more thing tucked inside a lot of them that you cannot see, which is poison. Many sea cucumbers carry a toxin in their skin and in those ejected threads, a chemical that leaks out into the water around a threatened animal and can stun or kill the small creatures near it. People figured this out a long time ago. In parts of the Pacific, islanders learned to tear up a sea cucumber and wring it into a tide pool, and the toxin would seep out and daze the fish, floating them up to be gathered by hand. So this eyeless, brainless tube is not just hard to kill, it is quietly chemical warfare in a bag, and humans have been using its own defense against the rest of the reef for generations. And then there is how it makes more of itself, which is the final insult to how life is supposed to work. Sex is the normal way, and sea cucumbers do that too, releasing eggs and sperm into the water. But some of them do not bother waiting for a partner. Some can simply pull themselves in half. The body stretches, thins in the middle, and splits into two pieces, and each piece grows back into a whole, complete, living sea cucumber. One animal walks away as two. No brain made that decision either. It is just another thing a sea cucumber can do that most of the living world cannot. So let us total up the animal you are holding. No brain, no eyes, no heart, no blood. It breathes through its back end. There is a fish living inside it, possibly eating it. When frightened, it fires its own toxic organs at you and grows new ones. It can poison the water around it. It can tear itself in half and become two. And it can turn from solid to liquid and back whenever it needs to slip away. Every single one of those should be a fatal design flaw. Together, they should add up to an animal that cannot possibly work. And here is the punchline. Not only does it work, it won. Sea cucumbers are everywhere. They have been around for hundreds of millions of years, longer than trees, longer than almost anything you can name. They live in warm tide pools, like the one you are standing in, and they carpet the floor of the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean, where in some places they make up the majority of the living things down there. Down in that cold dark, they do a job too. They swallow the sediment of the sea floor, clean the leftover scraps out of it, and pass it back, cleaning the bottom of the entire ocean the way earthworms clean soil. The planet's deepest basements are kept livable by a brainless tube that breathes through its bottom. That is the thing about the sea cucumber. We look at it and we see a lump. No face, no fight, no cleverness, nothing we recognize as an animal that should survive out here. And it has quietly outlasted the dinosaurs, colonized the entire ocean top to bottom, and made itself impossible to kill in a hand. It did not need a brain. It did not need blood. It did not need any of the parts we assume you have to have. It just needed to be very, very hard to finish off. So the next time you are in a tide pool and your foot finds something soft, and you lift it up and it has no eyes to look back at you, remember what you are actually holding. Not a lump, one of the oldest, strangest survival machines on the planet, sitting patient in your hand, breathing through the wrong end, deciding whether to be solid or liquid, ready to throw its own guts at you and grow a new set by next week. Put it back down gently. It was here long before you, and it will be here long after. If you love the animals that quietly break every rule of how life is supposed to work, subscribe. The list only gets stranger from here.